All right, sounds coming your way.
Welcome to the Forbes Factor, featuring celebrity TV host, million-dollar entrepreneur, and renowned health and fitness superstar, Forbes Riley, a familiar face from TV, as well as one of today's most sought-after female motivational speakers today. You'll connect with some of the top experts in health and fitness, business and personal development, as well as some surprise celebrities, all sharing their insight, tips, and tricks to finding true happiness. Now, here's your host, Forbes Riley.
Hello, everybody. It is Forbes Riley, and we are, in fact, live on many platforms. You know, this is the joy of having ADD, is I can do 6 things at once. Yes! So we're on Voice America Live. I'm on my Facebook fan page to a mere 1.8 million people. And then my favorite new platform is Clubhouse. I'm hanging out with Alex, which is crazy that I don't get to talk to him. But you guys get to listen for a little bit, ask some questions. I have some wonderful guests. And what is it that Forbes wants to focus on today? How about just how many hours I'm spending on Clubhouse? Let's start with the fact that I just don't want to sleep anymore, because every time I do, I feel like I'm missing something. And you know what? It's called the FOMO generation, fear of missing out. And I am. I did miss Jamie Foxx for the 2 hours that I wasn't there. Jamie was doing his thing live. Katie Couric was on the other day. I missed her. Come on, guys. I'm on Clubhouse like 85 hours a week, and I still miss these people. Hello. But I will tell you that something's changed for me in the last, I want to say 90 days. In fact, everything's changed. I'm profoundly happier than I've ever been. And I think it's because I am now listening to people's hearts. I'm hearing love and gratitude and reciprocity and people edifying each other. I'm hearing questions from people that would have never, ever, ever had a voice to elevate up and ask for help, ask to promote what they do. Certainly, I love when people come to my pitch class, because I personally I can't tolerate, isn't that terrible? I cannot tolerate a bad pitch. And yesterday, one of my students said something to me that I think I've been wanting to hear for a decade. And she said, I get it. She said, pitch is every word that comes out of your mouth, isn't it? She said, pitch is how you talk to your husband. Pitch is how you talk to your kids. Pitch is how you talk to yourself. And that for me was a moment of clarity that I'm working on kicking that piece of video out, because while I'm the ultimate pitch queen and I've sold a little over $2.5 billion, keep your fingers crossed. I think I just closed my 193rd infomercial shooting next week, and is fitness, which is even amazing because I have a birthday coming up. And I guess, if you're not transparent about this, because I could go, I don't want to talk about my age. I'm going to talk about my age. I actually don't really like hearing me say it, because I think it brings up all of these images. In about a month and a week, I turned 61. What? I don't even know. That number just it's like, that's an old lady, damn it. But it's not, because it's me. So I'm going to say that maybe my driver's license lied. No, that's not true. But then I look at the fact that I'm in love with a 43-year-old man who I think I hold my own, even though he's a fitness superstar and that's his abs and that's his ass. And yeah, he's pretty hard. Well, yeah, he's a pretty good looking, amazing man. And I sort of hold my own. And my twins are 18. So if I want to be 22 or 42, I can. I actually wake up in the morning going, I'm 42. And then I realized, wow, at 42, that was 2 decades ago. Life is fascinating. And I know that I've got a ticket on it. We all do on the ride. I don't know if you get to renew the ticket. I don't know if it's a recycled ticket. I don't really know and I don't pretend to know any of those things. What I do know, if this is all I've got right now, and you know what I do know? Both my parents passed away 20 some odd years ago. I had one phone number growing up my entire life. They're dead for 20 years. Every once in a while, I pick up the phone and I call the phone number. I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't know what I'm expecting. Usually I get somebody going, they don't live here. Get over it. They're dead. I'm like, whoa, that was weird. That's not what I expected. Could you be nicer? But if this is the one road that you get, how wonderful can you make it? And I'm a very different person than I was 20 years ago. And this is why I'm compelled on an almost daily basis to jump on to Clubhouse, to jump onto the radio and share some of my insight, my wisdom, which you get wisdom by the fact that you turn a certain age, I think. There's some people born with wisdom a lot earlier. It took me a long time to get any of it. And now I'm on a mission to share what I can. To that end, I teach. I teach on Sundays since COVID in July. Every Sunday I'm there for 2 hours, teaching my little heart out about how to pitch, why to pitch. I listen to people tell their stories. I push people's buttons. You know, my grandmother was 96 when she died. She was kind of a mean lady. You know how mean she was? I didn't meet her until she was 92. Yeah, she and my mom had this little grudge thing. Imagine not meeting your grandmother until she's 92. Yeah, that's a tough woman. And when I did meet her, she had lost all sense of editorialism. If you were fat, she'd tell you right to your face. If you didn't like your nose, man, that nose on your face, she would just tell you to the point she could embarrass me. I would just go out to eat at a restaurant just to see how quickly she could embarrass the waiter, myself, and people all around us, because she also said those things so loud that everyone had to hear her opinion. And then I concluded that in my 20s, and maybe you're like me, I was worried what everybody would say. So I'm like, well, so in your 20s, you really care. Your 90s, you don't give a whatever. In the middle here, you start to lose that sense of maybe I don't really care what other people think. I'm going to give my best advice, my best opinion, take it for what it's worth. And I've been a little vocal about that lately. People seem to like it. However, I'm going to share something with you. People don't like pushy women. They really don't. Am I pushy? Yeah, I'm from New York. I don't have a chance. Of course I'm pushy. Culturally, I'm pushy. But I'm not pushy. I'm not mean, but I'm a little aggressive. I've been told that lately. And I guess if I came from somewhere in the South, you know, I was in the Miss Teenage America pageant. I was 16 years old in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1976. They all looked at me and go, y'all have the funniest accent I ever heard. Like, what the freak you talking about? I never accent. This is the way we all talk where I come from. Like, what's the problem? I didn't win Miss Congeniality. I didn't win Miss anything that week. I was made fun of and made to feel very bad. And so part of my mission on this planet is to embrace people, to not make them feel bad for being different. I just don't. So I may be loud and brash, but I got a really, really big heart. So feel free to reach out to me. If you're here listening on Clubhouse, you guys know who you are. If you're on Facebook, you know who you are. And I'm going to introduce one of, let's say, one of the more unusual couples I've ever met. Yes, they're unusual because they're both very smart. Usually you find a yin and a yang. There are a lot of yang. They're both very smart. They really want to help. And they like really hanging out together. It's the most unusual. And they seem to be very much in love, which is crazy. And then, this is what's cool about them too, is that they are as qualified as any coaches I've ever seen, but they opted in to take a training with me. They've opted in to take your training with another mentor that I know. They are the epitome of what you want to be as a coach, that you are always open to continually learning and getting better. And it's my great honor and pride to introduce you guys to Shank. I can't believe I did that. To Sharyn and Yuloff. Wow. All right, did I make you guys laugh?
Forbes, but you know, if you were the first.
If only you were the first. You are not the first.
We've been shanking Sharyn for
decades.
30 years this July 21st.
Wow, that's really funny. Yes, it is Sharyn with a Y and Hank with, I don't know why. There's a Y on his last name. All right, so I've dedicated this show to you guys. You are, in fact, students of mine. You came to one of those $19 classes.
Mm-hmm.
What made you, before we get into who you are, let's talk about me.
Okay.
What made you want to hang out with Forbes Riley?
Well, do you want to go first?
It's kind of like what you said, right? Coaches need coaches. Doctors need doctors. We don't have the corner market on things that we need to know. We don't even know the things that we need to know. And you've gotten to a level that's beyond where we've gotten, where we aspire to be. We want to learn from those that have gone where we want to go. And what do we need to know that we don't even know we need to know?
Don't you love that? That is it. Now, by the way, your microphone's a little muffled. I'm not quite sure if there's anything that you can do to tweak that. I know that we go out to a...
Unfortunately not. We'll try to speak a little softer. Maybe that might help. The device we usually use for this died. And so we are making do.
All right. I got that. All right.
You don't panic. You unplug the device that just died, you bring in the backup device, and you move on. What else are you going to do?
And now we all know that I'm totally cool with that. So Hank, you are also a very confident, amazing coach, and yet you put up with me for all my trainings. What was the inspiration behind that? Because I'll tell you what, it's very fun when you're definitely a student, and then when there's a moment, you definitely put the teacher hat on because I love your input, and I'm very interactive. So how's the journey been for you?
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, another way that we had put it, one of the reasons that we joined in is that the same thing we teach to all of our coaching clients. All of us as entrepreneurs, we all have blinders on. We're looking where we want to go, but there's all sorts of other things going on. And we went into your class, it's like, let's see what blinders we can take off. And right from the very beginning, she looks at our background, it's like, are you kidding? And I think you were nicer than, no, yeah, it was exactly, it was like, yeah. So you were saying, what are you trying to do there? And who's your audience? It was like, you're right. So that night we made the switch. This isn't a Zoom background. It's a black background. We also have the green and the white, but made a switch because if you're coachable, and we always ask them when someone asks a question of us, they'll come to one of our 30-minute free marketing, consultations. The first question I ask is, are you coachable? Which is another way of saying, can you hear the truth? And you're a truth teller. So
does anyone ever actually say they're not coachable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have had a few, in which case we're like, okay, well then you're fine.
You look great. Everything's wonderful.
Wow. That would be an odd statement to say to somebody, okay, I'm not coachable. I don't want anything. But I will tell you, people sometimes aren't. And now I've gotten to a point in my personal life where I have the mottos that I live by. One is you get what you tolerate. And I tell people very clearly now, write the word surrender at the top of the page when you're working with me. You don't have to give up, but you got to give in to whatever it is I'm doing. I really don't like hearing, well, my other coach says this. I'm like, okay, go when you're done with them, then come over on my boat, but don't try to be in two boats at the same time because your butt cracks.
Yes, it does. That's a marvelous way of putting that.
Yeah, well, there you go. I just made that one up for you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a writer downer?
Problem. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know if I ever.
That's not going to be in the next book. Okay.
So what I would love to hear from you guys, and just be mindful, there's a little bit of weird tonality. If you're listening on Voice America, their mic broke. They're doing the best that they can. So Hank, how did you start wanting to be a coach in this industry?
Actually, it goes back a lot further than that. I was one of those kids in Little League that listened to Vin Scully every night and the Dodger baseball games. And in Little League, I thought I could coach the team better than the adults that were doing it. So for me, coaching started a long time ago. In fact, it's almost embarrassing to say, but I was on a team that lost 9 games in a row by 1 run, and I came out of the dugout and my bat, I just hit the bench, and that might have been okay, except my dad was on the other side of the fence. And he said, Henry, which made me know I was in trouble. If you, perhaps you could listen and decide, make your game better. So it started a long time ago. And then I watched my parents, they each had a job, but then they had their own part-time business. So I watched them develop their dreams. And it just seemed in every place I went, I wanted to try and make an organization better, or it just kind of worked. And it fell into, because I owned a promotional product company, and one of my clients said, you're selling us these trade show things. Can you teach my people how to use them? And it just went from there.
Interesting. And Sharyn?
I started as a teacher. So for me, this was just a natural progression right now. Instead of teaching K through 12 severely emotionally disturbed kids, now I'm teaching entrepreneurs how to make their lives better. So it just was an easy, natural progression.
How long have you guys been together?
Not long enough.
This is what I've been listening to for weeks here. I'm looking at them and I'm just like oozing. They really you guys adore each other. That's such a nice answer.
I was modeled. My parents were high school sweethearts. I mean, I had really good modeling.
I did not.
And, Well, your mom's awesome.
My mom is awesome, but not as a couple.
Yeah.
I love my mom. I would not want to be in a relationship though.
Yeah.
No.
So,
So, all right, go back. All right, so guys, we have a break in 3 minutes. So we're gonna break this up into a little bit of what it is they do and how they serve entrepreneurs, because that's a lot of my audience. But the other side of that I'm very passionately committed to is that your home life and the quality of the relationship, how you communicate. You guys really do seem beautifully happy, and there must be some secret, because I had parents that were, together too, but somehow the lessons, So I'd like to learn some of those. And then we'll take some Q&A from our audience, and we'll learn not only how do you get to be a better person, a better couple, a better entrepreneur, possibly a coach, and then how do you make it onto the stage on my show? All right, we do have 3 minutes though. So Hank, what's one of the biggest things that you tell entrepreneurs they need to learn and master?
There's this myth in marketing that everybody is our customer, and you have to be able to figure out who do you serve the best. And using demographics and psychographics and your heart, who do you serve? And who you're going to be in business for X amount of years. Play with the ones you love. And on the other part of that, the first question we ask all of our clients is, what do you want your life to look like? And let's make your business serve your life instead of the other way around. You've done that.
Well, I'll tell you what, yes, I have. I've worked very hard to make that make sense, but I don't think a lot of people understand what we're talking about. Or and if they do, they have no idea how to make it happen.
That's why we're here.
Well,
Yeah.
Look, we lived in Los Angeles, and traffic was what it was. And at one point we started visiting Sedona, and we thought, we could do what we do in Sedona. So we decided to make our life serve our business, our business serve our life, and we just moved it here.
Well, it's funny. That's what I did with my twins. I remember when my kids were little, that Demi Moore had taken her 3 girls up to North Dakota at the height of her career. And I thought, why would you do that? And it resonated when I had my kids and I was living in Los Angeles, and the values were not what I wanted little kids to know. And a lot of them were all screwed up. I said, we have to go somewhere where I grew up. And that's how I ended up in Florida. There's water here, there's beaches, there's a small community. And I like the values of a small town. So that's actually a very smart, wise idea.
Well, understand that. But before we even got married, we went into counseling because, for communication. Yeah, for communication. And
you're like the ultimate coach. That's such a cool thing. I did not know you could do that.
Oh yeah,
you can. And I'll share with you one of the thing that has served us for 30 years. Our number one cause of fight was because the other person didn't hear us and we thought they weren't paying attention.
Or they were ignoring us.
So now if one of us asks a question and the other one doesn't hear it, we know nothing's coming. But if one of us hears it, needs to take a moment to think, we say,
thinking.
And then we know I was heard, and the other one's going to get back to me. And that ended almost every, the entire challenge is communication.
And it's generalized to working with clients and being on Zoom and on the phone, right? If someone asks a question, they have to know that we heard you, but we're thinking.
Yep.
So that's interesting. All right. So I'm having a little issue in my relationship where he wants to love on me all the time. I'm like the worst thing that could happen, but I'm focused on my business and I don't like to stop. And when we come back, you'll find out how this is working out for us, because I've got this wonderful man that I've worked my whole life for, but I'm also working, and he's like, oh, you don't make time for me. And I'm like, now I don't know what to do here. I love you too much. All right, we'll find out. Does Forbes Riley's relationship with Joshua continue right after this message? I will be right back after this. Don't go away. Thank you. Hey guys, don't go away. We're actually live on Zoom. We're live on Facebook. I've been talking all day. Regina apparently is in Tampa. I did not know that. Hello, Miss Regina. We have to say hi to you, and hugs from Puerto Rico for my beautiful Martinez. Have you guys been to Puerto Rico?
We have.
Yeah, I love Puerto Rico. I've got a couple of fun people here on the stage. You guys, so Cindy, you're right here. What have you, and again, I know this audio is a little off today, so it's a little hard to hear, but I'll bring Cindy up and I'll bring Neil up. What have you guys, what's a big takeaway so far? You have to come up and speak if I invite you or not. All right, maybe not. There's Lisa. You know Lisa. Maybe nobody wants to invite. No one wants to speak on my stage. How's Clubhouse going for you guys now that you decided to take the leap?
It's fun. We did our first couple of rooms, and we had 5 people show. It was awesome. we gave and what was really fun is that 3 of them were in Sedona.
Really?
They just
sort of worked that way.
Yeah, we spent an hour helping them with their marketing. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome. So when people come to you and you say that I want help with my marketing, what's the first thing that you say?
So, let's get a little more focused.
Yeah, tell us about your business, life, what's not working. Just saying it's not working doesn't really tell us anything. What's not working?
Got it. While we're here, I've got a lot of love coming in for everybody here. So we've got Darlene, who loves Clubhouse. We got Cindy Bell from Alaska. Cindy is definitely coming down where it's warm. She is a rock star. Cindy, I just quoted what you said yesterday in Media Master because it hits so deep. Hi from Orlando. How do I come on stage? You know what? I could invite you because you really did something amazing for me. All right. And I like the value. Whoop. That's what I don't want to do.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
All right, everybody. We are having a very cool, in-depth coach to coach to coach. I want to go business first because I want to go coach about this beautiful couple named Shank and Sharyn. No, actually, or Sharyn and Hank. And no, yeah, I know. They've heard this their whole lives. Real quick, how did you guys meet?
We met at Temple.
Yeah, it was Friday.
Really?
So let me back it up a little. We had both gotten out of relationships, and we both listened to our mothers. At least I listened to my mother, go find a nice Jewish girl at Temple. So I joined a temple. And we were 2 of the only singles in a very small temple. It was Friday night after services, and I asked the cantor, who was the hot chick in the brown pants with the great ass? And cantor,
You said that really? Wow.
Yes, I did.
I want to go.
Have you met Hank?
The cantor, she's lovely, and we became instant friends. And she walked me up and introduced me to Sharyn.
We were still
friends. How long ago was that?
Let's see, married 30. So 30, yeah, just
August will be 33 years.
Yeah.
What is it that makes the relationship so yummy? I mean, if you can't physically see them, every time I work with them, they're always sitting next to each other. They say the nicest things. They just really enjoy each other's company. I have a theory about what it is, but what do you think it is?
I think it is a mutual respect.
That's what I was gonna say.
We both found a best friend.
That was exactly what I think of the word respect. It just oozes all over you guys. But when you see other people, do you not see that they have respect for each other? What do you think is missing in most couples?
I don't know about most. I would say what we see is too many couples. They see the sitcoms that are happening on television and the way that the men and women interact, and that biting sarcasm, that they're playful and funny in a sitcom, but then they try to translate that to their life and their relationship, and it doesn't translate well in real life. It feels more biting and it doesn't feel loving. And
so me watching the Munsters growing up was not a good role model.
Well, wait a minute. I like Natasha and Gomez. I watched the episode the other day. They were awesome. We were at an event where we were speaking in front of a couple of hundred people, and another couple was going up 2 in front of us. And they looked at me and said, "Any tips?" I said, "Be really nice. Don't be sarcastic," because they play. We know, if you know the couple, you know they're totally in love, but on stage one would say, "I'm the smart one," and one would say, and I'm the good looking one. And I watched the audience just kind of mouths drop. And it completely reinforced that on stage is not the place to.
No, if you're having an issue, leave it off stage.
Yeah.
And don't be the Bickersons on stage. It just doesn't play well to the audience. In a business coaching, right? Maybe in something else it would work, but in a business coaching, it doesn't play well.
Yeah, we're not Burns and Allen. Wait, Forbes will get that. Half the audience wrong.
I got it. And now I'm going,
we're not, we're more Ozzie and Harriet than Burns and Allen.
Well,
If you want to go through
no, I do get it. And actually, it's fun to hang out with both of you because I love seeing the relationship. Let's talk about how you guys work together. You're called America's what?
#1 coaching team for small business owners.
America's #1 small business coaching team. I love that.
We earned that. We competed for that.
You competed for that?
We
With
did.
Wow. All right.
So yeah, we're proud of that. How do we work? You know, we each have a lane. If it's HR, it's 90% Sharyn, unless it's HR with sales. If it's messaging, it's mostly me. If it's online stuff, we kind of share it. If it's a business system, you know, back of the house, it's Sharyn, because she's run businesses. You know, she was the HR director for an international post-production company. So we know to stay in our lane, and we know when we are both on the call with a client that we're going to share it.
All right, let's get some actionable nuggets here. I'm going to call you guys. I've got a small business. Hi, Sharyn and Hank. I would like to, I heard about you guys are great coaches. Can you help me?
No, let's talk.
Okay, let's talk. What do we start talking about?
Tell us a little bit about you and about your business.
I run a coaching business. I talk about pitching, and I've got a lot of clients, but I'd like to expand or scale, or I'm not sure. I would like to just go to my next level.
Okay. Normally, what would have happened? You've already gone probably to how to get there faster. That's the link where someone goes. You know, they go to howtogetttherefaster.com. They've answered a couple of questions, and now we're on the phone with you. So
no, go back, because I actually want to take people through. This is the valuable part of what we do. So, how to go there faster? What kind of questions do you ask?
How to get there faster? And there are questions like, do you have offers? Do you have offers that you know you can make? Are you ready to make your business go forward? One of the questions is, you know, you have to look inside yourself. Are you ready to go where a coach is going to take you? Because a lot of the things we're going to do are going to make you a little uncomfortable. Heck, in your classes, we see a lot of people get uncomfortable.
I got uncomfortable.
Well, because let's get real. Uncomfortable is how you grow. That is part of life. So I'm going. All right. So I'll actually play a real. Can I play a real scenario with you in the hopes of shedding some light for other people? We've actually hit a wall. We've got lots of leads coming in and lots of clients, but we're not growing the infrastructure of our business. One of my shortcomings is managing people and building that from that side of the business. What would you suggest?
Where's the pain point? What's the struggle?
It actually is everything infrastructure-wise, from answering all the emails to the 9,000 DMs that are coming in on Instagram, to keeping the schedule, and just being everything that I'm the front person, someone's running my back office, and missing an operations person.
Yeah, you are really great at filling the top of your funnel.
Yes,
and that which is a struggle for most people. So that's great.
Check.
We wouldn't touch that. But there has to be an admin that gets you, that can start to learn your words, so that some of those direct messages, they have to be able to say, is this one for Forbes, or is this one I can handle?
You know, that's usually an online business manager. So if you haven't looked at an online business, that's the actual title for that role, online business manager. If you haven't,
OBM.
I would, yeah.
So this is actually very helpful for people to hear, an OBM.
Yes.
When you
Melody
refer that,
Lee
what
in
is it?
San Francisco. That's who you should talk to.
Wait, say again? What'd you say?
Melody Lee in San Francisco. That's the one you should talk to.
If that's a real person that you love, I'm very open at this moment. How would you describe an OBM to people who are maybe in a similar situation to me?
So I actually played that role in the transition from having a job, right, where I was the office and HR manager, to being a coach partner with Hank. I actually played that role for a client of his. It's how we realized that we actually work really well together, besides being married. So what I did for Kay is I handled her calendar. I had access to her email. I actually had access to everything. So much so that I actually still do. I no longer work for Kay. We became really good friends, and I still have her backup. If God forbid something would happen to her, I still have access to her calendar. I know where she is. Her kids can call me and go, Mom's missing. Where is she? So it's the person that handles that, and it's in her voice, totally in her voice. I could answer her emails. And in fact, what I would do is I would see her email. I would answer the email as if I was Kay. You know what? This is a great question for my office manager. So I'm going to forward your email. I'm going to copy my office manager, Sharyn, and she's going to answer you. And then I would go into my email and I would answer in my voice.
I have to hire a schizophrenic with multiple personalities. That was a joke. Not my best one, but it was a joke. Well, wait, hang on a second. So I'm going to go back here for a second. You are very qualified. You are very nice and you're very wonderful. Is that typical of the online business managers that you've ever met?
Sharyn, yes.
Yeah, the ones
you guys are lying. You see their faces, they're lying. You totally lied.
I had to think about it, but the ones I know, that's the good ones. I mean, there are some that are snarky and obnoxious, and yes,
those aren't the ones to hire.
Don't hire them.
You want the ones that are more mom. They treat your business as if your business was one of their kids, and they're the mom. The mom role, making sure that everyone is at practice at the right time, and making sure that the phone calls are gotten to the right people. They're kind of a traffic cop and mom at the same time.
They're comfortable herding the cats.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Now I'm really a little jealous that you have her and I don't. I want Sharyn. Move over. We could be a very cute couple, you and I.
Let me tell you. I will say, I married up. I married up, and I have the best partner in the world. It is amazing. Forbes, I haven't written a check in forever. I don't even know where the checkbook is.
I could tell you.
Interesting. Nice. All right. Well, so that's what I'm going to go look for. I'm going to assume that other people have this situation.
It's different than a virtual assistant. It's a level up.
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
Yeah,
so
people with themselves VAs, this is not the same level.
I've been very gun shy because maybe I haven't hired the right people. Did she manage you? How did she onboard you so that you learned to speak in her voice?
She didn't. Honestly, right? Full transparency. I don't know how else to answer you. She did not. I learned her voice seriously by sitting in her office with her. When we started, we were both in Los Angeles. She had some other disjointed team members. Part of why she brought me on was to help with those right? Because I have an HR background. So I sat in her office. I mean, we were desk to desk with a pathway in between for her dogs.
And a dog on Sharyn's.
No, and actually, okay, so this is valid because I always say to my team members, I want you to, everyone now is virtual. I actually would like someone in my space because I think there's something important about that.
There is, at least to start. Now, she did move to Texas, and now I could no longer do that. So we did the virtual thing. But by then, we already had that foundation of what it was like to hear her on the phone, to hear her talk about how should I answer this email, right? I got that process before I was there to do her voice.
And the other part of it, Forbes, are you a little coachable?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Your manager is probably not going to be able to have many more clients than you.
Oh, I agree. No, actually, and you're right. And that's not coachable. That's actually very true. I really do want someone who's devoted to what we're doing because I'm pretty busy.
And understand that there are, I think it's going to be pretty easy to figure out in your business where those messages go. There's the direct messages, I want to pitch you something. There's the direct message, I want more information about your Sunday class where for $19 I can sit in for 2 hours and have Forbes teach me the pitch. There are those that will have been to the $19 class that now want to take your 2 next level courses. Now they'll probably want to hand to you for you to take, to see if they're going to be in the class.
Right.
And how that's going to be answered. And the ones that are a no go one direction. The ones that are yes, you're going to handle. And so it's really a funnel, and just know that person is going to learn to direct all of your funnels and which funnels go directly to Forbes.
I think what it comes down to is just finding, I just need Mary Poppins. I need Mary Poppins.
Oh my goodness. Is she available? Oh my gosh, practically perfect in every way. That would
Yes.
be, oh,
You know, it's
Mary
so
Poppins.
funny. Trust me, I'm looking at Mary Poppins meets every, yes. Congratulations, Hank, for finding Mary Poppins. And everyone is saying, hey, what a lovely team you guys really are. By the way, you know, in the same world, I'm very lucky. I mean, I have a teammate of mine who's a little bit younger than me, who's extraordinary at her job. Yeah. And it's funny. My mom used to make me and my sister feel bad. She always would say to us, I always wanted 4 kids. I'm like, yeah, but you only had 2. Are you happy? Because this is why you. The other day when I was looking at my daughter who works in my company and my son who kind of doesn't really, and I'm like, maybe I should have gone with the second set of twins just in case. It's too late to do that now. But man, had I known you could recruit them, isn't that why they had lots of babies in the old days? Put them out to the field to work. We need more babies.
My mom used to call Sharyn the daughter she never had. And I did have a sister. So, yeah, that went over well. My mom fell instantly in love, and that was kind of.
It was mutual.
Yeah, it was.
I had the best in-laws ever, and we're sad every day that they're not still with us and get to see this. And we in some ways we do live with them because we do have a lot of their furniture is here, and we do in some ways get to live with them. But it is too bad that they.
I've got some of my dad's. I have some of my dad's textbook from college, like his pharmacological books. I've got. They're in this. They're in our studio. They're right on the shelf over there.
You guys are adorable. Their next book is called The Recipe for Being Adorable.
It's partners in everything. Your guide to running your successful business together without ruining your life or without killing each other. We're not sure what the last part of that is going to be.
Something like that.
And the challenge is we're looking for couples in business, and it could be you and your daughter that we can interview, because we know that how we run our business.
It works for us, but it may not work for everyone. And
yeah,
you know, we've written 6 other best-selling books, just us. But this book feels like it needs to have more voices than just us.
We haven't talked about this book. Sally is offering she wants you to adopt her. This is very strange comments right now. Will you adopt?
I think Sally wants you to adopt her.
I just think we're one giant adoption center. All right, we've got 60 seconds before we have to take our next commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how do you get 6 best-selling books, what's their next one, and how some of this beautiful mojo can rub off on all. I don't know if you should rub each other. Don't stop rubbing each other. If you can't see what they're doing, don't even ask. One of them has a cat. All right, on that note, I'm Forbes Riley. You're listening to the Forbes Factor, health, wealth, and happiness. And today we got all that going on in one giant mix. Don't go away. You guys are so awesome. I definitely feel like we need to have dinner, even if it's a virtual dinner.
Love that.
A Zoom dinner.
Although,
with Josh.
If you and Josh wanted to.
Does he go by Josh? I cut his name short. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have, so my apologies.
At our house, you have your own suite. You'd have your own keys. Come and go as you like. You've got a place in Sedona.
Actually, that's actually a great thing to take us up on. We're heading back to Costa Rica for a month. Have you met Hector, by the way? Hector Cubero?
No, I think we saw him on a Facebook something, but that's it.
You should connect with him. He runs a beautiful big old 19-bedroom home. He's got the second home down below it for these beautiful masterminds. He does a week mastermind. He gets people from all over the world. You might want to be a speaker of his as a couple. Very romantic. I went down for Christmas, and we're going to spend all of May there. I'm going to do a week with McKenna for a women's one. His wife is pregnant with their first baby, and she's fascinating. And Sharyn, listen to this. She is from Sweden. She's part of a documentary called Say Something that was done about her and her mother because they were so violently abused by her stepdad that they ended up in a shelter, and they did an entire documentary that won an award based on that experience. Wow. And she's just a lovely, amazing woman who's going to have her first baby. And so she's Swedish and he is Paraguayan.
Wow.
Or Uruguayan, one of the two down there in the south of South America. But amazing couple. And they've studied with some of the similar mentalities that you and I know. And they run beautiful, you have a mastermind every night at dinner at the big long table. It's a really special environment. So, but I haven't been to Sedona in a long time. I vortexted it. I loved it. In fact, I went down there for my birthday, my 40th birthday. We went hot air ballooning and the Bondurant car racing. Is
That
that
would
in-
have been down in Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, but we did the whole circle. But yes, and my sister lives in Tucson.
10 seconds.
So, and anything that you want me to ask you guys for this last section? Actually, Sally just says, I would love to have my husband coach with me. Well, think about that.
They ask her, and our 2 opt-ins for
You
our
are listening to the
That'll be there.
Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
Yes, Forbes Riley. I like that. It's a good sounding name. All right, so we're here with Sharyn and Hank Yuloff. They are America's most adorable coach. What's the title? The number one adorable
title's
coaching
getting
team.
longer.
Go ahead, wait. You were voted America's,
#1 coaching team for small business owners.
and I'll tell you what, they have a great yin and yang about them. They're both very smart on their own. Fascinated. I've been hanging out with them probably for the last 10 weeks. We've hung out between classes and trainings, and a very good yin and yang back. By the way, I love your speaker page. Is that working for you guys?
Yeah. It's cool. One of the things that we were able to do in your class, we have a 6-page speaker mailer. But we needed the one sheet. And one of the things that everyone listening, you get to do in Forbes' class is focus some time, invest some time, not spend. You can invest your time on your speaking career. And one of the things was a one sheet. So
those collateral materials are really important.
Absolutely. You can't go out and get speaking gigs unless the background is solid. Your website's there and all of those tools. It's one of the reasons we've written books is because we want those tools as sales tools to get us on stages.
Yeah, I think it's pretty extraordinary. Talk to me about your on-stage career.
It's fun. One of us likes it more than the other.
Okay, but you were very passionate about speaking on stages, on your own stages or other people's platforms?
Both.
Yes.
We do
Yes.
twice a year. We run the Small Business Breakthrough Bootcamp. It's for small business owners. We put their marketing plan together in 3 days. Although virtually we're doing it 3 hours a day for 3 days. And it's for one of the ways it's for people to get to know us. They might want us to be their coach, but we also get to know them. And we're having a 3-day conversation to see if it works together. And it's one of the most effective ways that we have found of filling our funnel when we speak on other people's stages, and to get our point across. And plus it's a lot of fun because we both get to go into teacher mode.
But now you're not doing that as much as hardly anyone is doing live. Are you doing live events? Are you back?
We're doing live on Zoom.
Yes.
We're not doing live in person, right? Belly to belly, mask to mask, I said earlier today.
Yeah,
That's very funny.
This month we are doing 2 3-day boot camps. The first time we're doing them virtual. It is
Wow.
and we'd love to get back to doing them in person in September, but for now they're virtual, which means anyone can attend from anywhere around the country really easily.
Or the world.
So 3 days, what does that look like on a Zoom?
Do you want to?
It's 3 hours each day. So it's 9 to noon Pacific time, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
The first day we talk a lot about mindset, and this might sound familiar, starting to get your elevator pitch together.
What an interesting concept.
And we talk about we call her Harriet. The marketing term is your avatar. And I just hate saying the word avatar 1,000 times. So we call her Harriet.
We also do, one of the reasons we call her Harriet and we encourage our clients to name theirs is it's really good to have a picture. Who's your ideal client? What does that person really actually look like? Who's your favorite client? Really, honestly, print out that picture and have it sit across the desk from you. So when you're crafting those messages, you're really talking to that person, not to the 150,000 copies of that person.
And we have several Harriets. We don't just have one target audience, but generically for us, her name's Harriet. Named her after my grandfather, but that particular avatar was a female.
This explains a lot. If your grandfather's name was Harriet, I could stop right
His name
there.
was Harry, but the first avatar was a woman, so it was Harriet, not Harry. So,
I just went with it.
I think that's hysterical.
I'm
But
trying
actually, it probably does. So, as we're dropping real nuggets here, actionable nuggets. So one, the structure of their business, to the idea that when you're crafting a message by email, you're talking to a particular person. I'm not a big avatar fan either, but I do really understand the identity of finding a specific person. And so you'll do that. And people are cool sitting for 3 days. Do you charge for this event?
Not if they're listening to this show.
Right.
We have two different funnels. If someone would like to pay to come, feel free to go to themarketingevent.com. But because you're listening to Forbes and you hear us on Forbes Show, you can have the free link, and that's planyourmarketing.com.
Wow. All right. Would you guys, Sally or Cindy, will you write that there, planyourmarketing.com? That's what you can pay. If they do want to pay, how much is it?
$147.
Yeah.
Very reasonable. Do you supply lunch?
When we do them in person, we have a VIP upgrade that does include lunch, but
Oh, I totally get that. And actually, you can technically do that virtually. Think about this. The idea that you set aside an hour with you guys and you tell them the menu or you have them order in or whatever it could be. But there's been very unique ways, kind of like we did for our show, that you can get a bath. Who knows? It's just fun ways to have a VIP upgrade. Why not?
Well, we did offer it to our attendees. There is a company, I won't say them because they're not sponsoring your show, but there is a company that is very actively pursuing those of us that do these virtual events to partner with them to do just what you're saying, to have those foods delivered so that.
Oh, really? Oh, well, then we can totally do that offline. Just went to your page. Very nice. Do you guys build your own funnels or do you farm that out?
We do our own. We did farm it out. Unfortunately, we just lost our person that was doing it. She's transformed. She pivoted her business. So she's not doing that anymore. So now I'm back to doing it.
I had a first conversation with someone I met on Clubhouse. Interestingly enough, the last person was in Ireland and this woman is in London. So we're going to have a chat with her about funnels because it's one of those things that we don't want to do them. We want to farm them out.
Yes, we all want to farm them out. And the OBM should be in charge of farming them out. Wait, that's another person on the team.
Exactly. So she, and this last person, she was so awesome.
Oh, I'm so bummed that she's changed.
Yeah, we're hoping she doesn't come up with she wants to create her own courses and we're hoping it's harder than she thinks. So she comes back and does our work.
I love that. I know exactly where you're going with that. Yes, and yes.
All the success in the world.
But
maybe.
We do miss her. And we did tell people about her. So I know she got business from us as well. But then, things change, life changes.
I know it's kind of funny how this happens. I'm not sure how, there needs to be some giant collective where we just trade people. Like I am going to talk to your person in San Francisco if that's available, because I also want people who are tried and true. All right, we're going to come to the end of our presentation here. It's our radio show. It's our Clubhouse. It's our Facebook. It's wherever you want us to be within the sound of our voice. We've got some great nuggets.
Dimensional Forbes presentation.
There you go. All right. Something you want to tell our audience, Hank, something you want the people who listen to me very devotedly, that you want them to know, either personally, professionally, whatever it is you think they need to know.
You can do it. You're going to have days where it just sucks. Understand we all do have those days and you can do it. Start to get in we're in a couple of mastermind groups. Heck, get into Forbes's world and get into her mastermind world because
there are some phenomenal people in that world. Forbes is phenomenal on her own, but with the tribe that she attracts, it's a phenomenal world.
And if that isn't it, heck, there are tons of masterminds. Find it. Reach out to us.
Well, let me backtrack for a second. I have a large variety of people all around the world who listen to this show. How do you describe a mastermind and what's one of the benefits that you get out of it?
Best example. Here it is. We were at a 2-day mastermind. At the end of the first day, there's one of the other people in the room, his name's Dan. He helps authors write their first book. And we had already written 3, and I handed him our book. I said, let's trade books. The next morning he came down and said, Hank, I loved your book. You and Sharyn ought to write a book about couples working together. And it had never occurred to me, but one of our Harriets are couples that work together. So we need that book as a tool to share with them. So Matt, the power of Mastermind had never struck me as strong as it did that morning from, Dan Janelle out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's 1 + 1 can equal 7.
I find that everywhere I go. So yes, that's pretty powerful. Sharyn, what's something that you think the audience needs to know?
One of the questions that I think that you've asked and other people ask is, well, why does this work for us? And one of the reasons it works for us, there are many reasons, but one of the reasons it works for us is because when we agreed to add this dimension, the working together in addition to the marriage, one of the foundational things that we had to agree on first is that the marriage is first. The business is secondary. If the business starts getting in the way and the marriage is faltering, then because I have a history of having a job, I will go find another job. Marriage first, business is secondary.
Okay, all right. That's a very, very interesting moment in my life. How do you do that? I love to work, I guess but I also love being in my relationship. The line's a little fuzzy. How do you unfuzzy it?
You've heard, well, let's see. Time blocking.
That's where I was going to go.
At some point, the two of you have to time block some time together where he's not in the gym getting ready for his last competition, and you turn off Clubhouse and everything. I know. Look, there are 2 days a year where we shut everything down. Our anniversary and Christmas. And it's wonderful. But even if we go, we're planning a cruise that we're going to teach on in December. And we'll check email in the morning and the afternoon, and the rest of the day you can't get us.
But that works for us, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the book, right? That works for us. Other people, that doesn't work for them, right? They want it to be off. The challenge comes when one part of the couple wants one thing and the other couple wants something else. So for example, if I wanted us to shut down at 5 o'clock, that's it, we're done, no more work.
That's hard.
And he didn't work that way, that's where the challenge. Luckily we agree, so it's a non-issue, but there are couples that need to find that balance where you're both winning, right? It's not I'm giving up and you're giving up, right? We need to both win.
And you don't work together. So you're both going to have to, at some point, come home for dinner and say, okay, look, for 30 minutes, we are going to share our days together. I'm trying to negotiate. I already see her going, I don't see how I can do this.
Actually, what's really annoying is I just have to be really honest with everybody right now. I was working a lot. I teach all the classes, all that was fine. And then Clubhouse happened. And I guess until I can figure this particular world out, I'm a little screwed. Because I'm in love with a man who doesn't talk.
You know what it comes down to, Forbes? I'll tell you this. When we were working with one client, and he said, here was the key of when I knew I wanted to hire you. You asked me one question. How badly do you want it? And I use it all the time. This is the client said this. I use this all the time. Someone says, I want to go out to dinner. And I think, okay, well, how badly do I want that? And I use it all the time. The same thing is true for you, Forbes. How badly do you want it? If you want Clubhouse more than you want Joshua, just be honest with yourself and with him.
No, that's not it. I just want to be loved in every place I can be.
How badly do you want it?
How badly do you want it? And that client had just asked us, he wanted a certain thing. And I said, you're going to have to, you're going to have to create content and you're going to have to do that. And we gave him a list and he got that look. I said, well, how bad do you want it? It goes back to that there's that video out there. Do you want it more than you want to breathe? And I watched that video and it just, ooh.
But you know what happened with Clubhouse, and this wasn't really fair because I've got a bunch of people listening to Clubhouse right now, is that Clubhouse came along at a time when one of the things that I don't enjoy is putting quote unquote butts in seats. I love the act and the art of speaking and communicating. And because of Clubhouse, I did just get elevated to be the highlight between Deepak Chopra, Les Brown, Damon John, and Jack Canfield. They just made a little graphic of me, and I don't even know Jack. Jack and I have never actually met. I'd like to meet him. You know, I'm in one of his books a long time ago, and he needs to know me. That's freaky. That's what I wanted. It's interesting that it all kind of happened right now. And so the truth is, I am not coachable with that moment because I so vehemently wanted both of the things that I've got now more than I can breathe. I wanted Joshua more than anything, but I also wanted this level of success that I'm experiencing right now. And I do think that Clubhouse is not going to stay the way it is for long. I think, and I really tried to express this to Joshua, that we are in fact at the beginning of a movement here. I know that I joined Facebook the day that it started. I would have done a little bit better. I ended up with 1.8 million fans on my Facebook page. Instagram, I was locked out of it for 2 years. I didn't care about Instagram. If I did, there'd be a lot more followers. Okay. And as I'm listening to all my experts, they're like, look, you really can't take a day off, metaphorically. And so what is it you want? You know, I actually, and I think this is where my dilemma comes in. I did take 6 months off with him and didn't do anything before Clubhouse because he was in the hospital and he was in a wheelchair. And so then he was the priority. And so it's just an interesting moment of what it means to be, you know, when you get what you wanted. If you got 100 more clients now, Hank, then you probably don't even want 100, do you? You want, that would be overwhelming.
They'd go into our group coaching program, and then we would select the ones that really need us for the.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We have to wrap up. I love you guys. On Voice America. Oh, I didn't. I was just having my own little fantasy land. I love you guys. I think we're done. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show, Forbes.
Well, all right. You don't have to go away just yet. That was my real producer. I totally didn't see that.
No worries, Forbes. I got to run. Take care.
I love fun. Bye. Sometimes I like the conversation too much. And so for all of you listening on Clubhouse, I'm going to unmute you guys real quick and just ask if you want to say something back to my amazing guests. Is it Annalie? Annalie, you got here the moment this room started. Would you like to say something to Hank and Sharyn? Or Miss Irina? I'll just bring a couple people up real quick so you can get a little feedback.
Forbes, I was multitasking, so I had to quickly navigate back to Clubhouse.
Oh, I hear you.
It was amazing. My husband and I worked together, and I could so identify with, you know, things on both sides, your aspect and their aspect. So we've been married for 40 years, and we've been working together probably for 30 years. So yeah, it can be.
What do they do?
And what business are you guys in?
Well, for now, what we're doing together is we're farming. We have a microgreens and edible flowers farm.
Wow.
And,
I don't know if you've seen Hank, but I don't see him on a farm. He's a.
Look, yeah. I have one tool that fixes everything. It's called MasterCard. She should connect with us because we'd interview them for the book.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell me the name of the book.
Partners in Everything.
Partners in Everything. So Annalie, do me a small favor. Go on Instagram here and look up Hank Yuloff, Yul. No?
Yuloff Creative. We're both on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
You're both on Clubhouse, but separately or as Yuloff Creative?
Separately.
Separately on Clubhouse to get you on Instagram.
Just remember, I can only audio tell them. So just look up Hank, Yuloff.
Yeah. Yes.
And then his partner's name is Sharyn. And connect, and they're doing a book actually highlighting couples who've been together and worked together. And I think you guys would qualify nicely.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. And if I hadn't met Forbes Riley, I would have thought I can't do this.
Why?
I'm enjoying this.
Annalie, what does that mean, meeting me? What changed for you?
Because you've shown me that if you put your mind to things and put your limiting beliefs behind you, then you could do it.
Well, I bless you for saying that and letting everyone else's ears hear that. And I'll tell you what, actually, you know, Joshua and I do qualify because Joshua's my video editor. And when I met him, aside from being a wonderful fitness guy, he runs my studio. I didn't realize that he walked in and it couldn't even cross my mind that he knew that world, but he is a real videographer. And he has now built in the studio his own gym, bought all the new lights, and he's running the entire thing. So that is an interesting level of partnership and a little challenging. You know, it's he makes me want to go to the gym with him. It's hard to go to the gym with Joshua. Joshua,
You can't have Clubhouse on in the gym.
say again? Why
You
not?
can't be on Clubhouse in the gym. You're
Why?
doing, well, you're
Oh, I
doing, and you're trying to talk at the same time while
Oh,
you're,
I can. No, let me tell you something. Actually, I can
even while you're doing your
cardio.
push-ups.
Oh, no. I'm sitting on a bike. This is how I want to do Clubhouse. It's the extra 3 or 4 hours I can be on Clubhouse. I'm huffing and puffing, but it's not about Joshua. It's that I'm on a bicycle. Hey, I've also invited Cindy Bell up to the stage. Cindy was the one that I quoted at the beginning of the show. Cindy, your ears must have been burning.
That is so funny. What did you quote me on?
What you discovered about the word pitch and what I mean by pitch. What did you say it means?
I think I said it is basically how you do everything in life. And I've learned that it's a tool I use even on my husband. I can get whatever the hell I want if I pitch it properly. Is that what you're referring to?
That is exactly, I actually say that all over the place. And I know when I say pitching will get you anything and everything you want, people look at me like, what are you talking about? But when you know what I'm talking about, congratulations. So Cindy, she's up in Alaska. By the way, we now have a place to stay when we want to go to Sedona. That's where they are.
Correct.
She's talking to Joshua.
No, that's Cindy.
Oh, okay.
All right. So what was your big takeaway from Hank and Sharyn today on the show?
Well, number one, I know this is a word that's overused, but they are so authentic. And to the point where just, oh my gosh. And I also really appreciate the fact that you had people more of our age, that you're highlighting people successful in this space that are more my age. It really resonated with me. So I really appreciate that they are just so cool. They're the kind of people that I would want to just hang out with, have a glass of wine with, and hang out.
Oh, you really do.
Forbes, one of the cool things about you compared to other people you and we know, we had been in coaching programs and we never felt we saw the real person. And that we designed our coaching program and knowing that it is impossible for us to be different off stage than it is on stage. It's too hard for us.
There are people that do it beautifully, but that's just not us. And because it's not us, we don't like that in our coach. We want our coach to be in that way, to be like us, where we feel like we really, that our hearts speak to each other.
And it was like, for you on the first Sunday we saw you, it was like, yeah, we're seeing the real Forbes. There is no way that is a persona.
Yeah. No, and I love this part of my life. I have no desire to put on any airs. I say things that are very inappropriate, apparently. Joshua will say, did you really need to say? I won't repeat one of the things that I just did. I don't, and I'm not joking about, not that I don't care, but I don't. All those things that you would have normally hid are the juiciest, most inviting parts of who you are.
And that is how you draw people like me in, Forbes, because you are just absolutely the real deal. And just you sharing your raw emotions and feelings around this whole thing, Clubhouse versus Joshua, that just hits home with so many women, I think, right now, that we're all going, oh my God, she said out loud what I'm really thinking. And I just want to thank you for that, for just being so completely raw, because so many of us relate to that.
Thank you. I think what I'm doing, guys, between my Facebook inner circle, my Clubhouse world, I'm just creating an environment that I want to be in. I didn't like a lot of what I saw. I didn't like a lot of, I've been invited in the last 20 years to sit in or speak at almost every major person's event. That gave me a lot of experience. And I guess I just took what I liked and left the rest, but a lot of it I didn't like. I didn't really enjoy how people were treated. They were reduced to being numbers and dollar signs. And if you weren't paying somebody, the relationship was over. And I thought, I don't want to be in that world, literally on the planet with those people, because where else, when do they get to be real? Who are they real with, or are they never real? And it turns out some of them are actually evil people. And that was disheartening to me. Because people have set out to hurt me. Like, wow, really? I don't know that I've consciously ever, except in retaliation, set out to hurt somebody. I wouldn't do that. I don't. But I guess that's part of how people are wired. It's like, wow. And the other thing that I've learned, which I guess I'm loving about you, Hank, honestly, is that You appreciate women. I am one. Cindy, you're one. A couple of people on the platform are one. Oh, half the population is one.
I've had so many incredible female role models. You know, mom. You know, if you're going to go to it, I never ever had the feeling that with my parents, you know, my mom, that I wasn't loved and supported.
But there's this thing about there's this thing about a strong woman. I had a gentleman walk up to me at some event and he's like, "You're an alpha woman, aren't you?" I'm like, I never thought of it that way, but I do get shit done and I don't wait for anyone to help me. And I've never needed a man to do things, though I love my man. So, okay.
I've had a lot of really, you know, going back to college, working at a newspaper. The other best salesperson was named Marla Schechter, and she and I we decided we were going to have to be friends or we were going to kill each other. And she was just, I learned so much from her that when it was time for them to choose the new ad sales manager, we both went for it and we made a deal, whichever one gets it, because we knew it was going to be, of course, it's going to be one of the two of us. The other one was going to be the assistant, and we were going to run it 50-50. And that's exactly what happened. You know, I got the gig, but it was a 50-50 split. So my life has been filled with all sorts of amazing, incredible women. And
but Hank, we know this. We know this looking at you. We know this looking at Sharyn look at you. I looked at Joshua the other day. We had a really sweet moment. Joshua and I were together 4 years now. The other night, we were just kind of nuzzling, that beautiful thing, just kind of kissy face, just lying in bed, just being sweet. And he said to me, he said, "Do you think other couples do this?" And I said, "I think other couples wish they did this." I've been in other couples, and I did not after 4 years where you just want to do kissy face. And I said, I think this is what everybody wants or dreams of, but they're not that available to each other, or they don't really, or they think there's something better out there. So they always hold back a little bit, or they've been hurt so much they're afraid of being hurt. Cindy, what's you've been married and now not. What's your experience of that?
I am married now, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I got remarried. I met the love of my life at age 50 after having been through, you know, a couple really hard relationships. And we do have that. We look at each other and we say, "Oh my gosh, how did this happen?" We have the best relationship. It's amazing.
Ooh, I love that. Now,
Cindy, when you go to the movies, does one of you make sure that the soda is on the outside so that you can snuggle during the movie?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. It's amazing.
It's so cute.
It doesn't go in the cup holder between us. There's
There's not room. I can't cut it.
it's just,
Oh, this is what everybody's looking for. All right. Well, okay. So here's a quick question for you. What do you say to people who are not finding it? What do you think the difference is with somebody who found it? Because Cindy, you found it at 50. I found it at 56. Apparently it might actually be out there, but you got to think that maybe some people never find it. Is it them? Is it where they're looking? What advice would you give?
Who you're asking?
Well, they're mulling it over, so I'm looking at their little faces first.
wow.
It starts with you, honestly, right? Are you the person you want to be in relationship with?
Oh, wait, that's a great quote. Where's Christian? Are you the you want to be in a relationship with? Cindy, is that what changed for you?
That's where it needs to start.
Cindy, did something change for you?
Yes, I actually got my own shit straight. I discovered who I was, and I became 100% unapologetic about the life I have lived and who I am. And that is when I attracted the love of my life into my life.
How did you meet him?
Actually, a mutual Facebook friend, and he sent me a random message, and he just saw a comment I had made, and he was interested, and he sent me a message, and then we went to coffee the next week.
Wow.
So she was open.
I was open because I finally got my own self right, and I knew who I was for the first time ever.
How did you do that?
A lot of hard work, just a lot of come to Jesus moments with myself. Like, hey, I'm 50 years old. I had just done my bodybuilding competition at that point. I was feeling really, really great. trying to revive I have 5 kids, trying to, get those relationships.
Let me tell you something. Cindy bears the right name. She actually looks a little like Cindy Crawford. She's got beautiful hair, great. She just looks amazing. And you really do. Not that I'm being sexist at all, but you're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it's kind of funny to actually finally own that. Why did I wait till 50 to own how gorgeous I was?
Totally. I saw a post you wrote, I don't know how long ago, Forbes, but you posted a picture of yourself and you said, why did it take me so long? Why does it take us so long to understand and realize we're pretty?
Man, I look at pictures of this little face in my 30s. Man, there was a level of gorgeousness that I never, ever owned, saw, appreciated, and now it's gone.
No, it isn't.
Well, that chicken. No, I'm
absolutely stunning.
Wait, but don't get me wrong. There is a stunningness, make no mistake, that when you are 30 and when you are 40, that you rock it. Then there's a different sense of gorgeousness when you're 50 and 60. Just, I'm being very realistic here. Things were in different places. My boobs were looking up and not down. I'm just kidding.
Well, I do think that I think you're right about that. At least I don't know if the men think about themselves this way, but I know many women, myself included, right, that we look at ourselves at whatever, pick an age, 20, 30, 40, doesn't matter, whatever the age is. And we think, I'm going to look better. And if we only realize right now, we look back and we go, if only I had realized then how good I looked then and not worrying about what I'm going to look like later, like what a different world we would have created for ourselves.
I can show you.
Oh, I know that. I was so competitive. I was in a world as an actress where you were always told that you were never enough. And so even if I wanted to believe it, somebody was happy to tell me that I was wrong. So I understand that. Marcus, we've got a beauty photographer on stage and an amazing man. Marcus, why don't you chime into this conversation? What do you want to say?
Around this discussion, I realized that even some of the most beautiful people I've photographed also still struggle with this. And there's a lot of times you always think, I need to change something. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this so I can get a little bit better, because you're constantly being told that, like, why you didn't get picked is because, sometimes it's just simple that your hair isn't curly enough. It's not long enough. It's not short enough. It's not interesting enough where it's like short and blonde and whatever. And it's always just a constant struggle with women I have photographed or even talked to. Some of the makeup artists that I work with, the reason why they get into makeup is because even though I feel like they're beautiful, and if they were in front of the camera, don't want to be in front of the camera because they were told that they weren't pretty enough. So their focus is to make other people feel beautiful and feel accepted.
This whole level of beauty, and that's part of the voice that I'm choosing to step into about all the lies that we are told as humans. We are told that we're not pretty enough, that the woman on the cover of a magazine who is 110 pounds and 5'11", who hasn't eaten a donut in years, that's the standard of beauty. And if you're not that, by definition, you're not beautiful. It's very weird what we do to each other. But we also say lies like money doesn't grow on trees. Guess what? If it's made out of paper, it does. Or we're told that McDonald's has food. Turns out it doesn't really have any nutrition at all. We get lied to. And so anyway, but I'll tell you what's great about looking at Hank and Sharyn is that maybe there is a happily ever after. And that's when I look at you guys, I go, oh.
You know what you and Joshua could do to start getting your happily ever after? You could write the foreword for our book and we could talk to you guys.
You know what? I would be honored to do that. That would actually be very sweet. I would love to be. Thank you very, very much. As I do really believe in the romance. I did work with my ex. I'm still partners with him. I have a very unique perspective on love, though. Because I didn't have really any family or friends growing up, I still love the people who've loved me. My very first boyfriend from 21 to 24, who I unfortunately say in front of Joshua, I lost my virginity to him, was at my wedding a decade later, is the godfather of my daughter. My second love of my life is a stuntman named Hugh O'Brien, who I still just adore to this day. And we're friends. But I think if you've ever loved that deeply, you should stay friends, because there's something you know about that person. It's something you don't have to spend the rest of your life with them. My current love does not need to be jealous of any of them. That's not the point of that. But a sense of love. I mean, I've only loved a few people in my entire life. And if you don't have brothers and sisters and aunts and cousins Who do you choose to love? The people who come into your life, who are there for a period with you. I also think that divorce should be celebrated. And I mean celebrated in the best way, that you went through a period of time with somebody and now you're choosing to move on for whatever reason. Expect unless the person set out to hurt you. But is it fair? I have a lot of friends. After 20 years, they're getting divorced. Unbelievable amount. So what did they do? They spent a period of time. They maybe have had children. And now they just want something different at a different season in their life. Why not celebrate that?
Well, we're not saying we haven't had challenges. I mean, but it isn't all, rainbows, unicorns, and M&Ms.
See, I think it is. Peanuts or no peanuts?
I'm the
peanuts, no peanuts.
Oh God, you guys are like so classically perfect. Oh, that's such a great question. Oh my gosh. You know what we do need to do? I really like this idea. One of the girls on this platform does a dinner party. And I think it's a great idea that you invite, 10 people and those are the speakers at the dinner party. And I would love to do that. But I also like the idea of doing dinner party on Zoom so I can see you eat, except that I still eat with my fingers.
We order pizza.
That's fine.
Oh, I love you guys. All right, Sharyn, most embarrassing moment.
There are probably many, but the one that came to mind is when Hank made me go on stage, and I was not ready to be on stage.
It was awesome.
If looks could kill, he'd be dead.
We had just started doing our boot camps, and we started to video them. And Sharyn wanted to be off the side with a microphone so she could just pop in. And we were teaching social media. And I said, well, since we're videoing this, why don't you come up here and do it so we have you on camera? And as she came on stage, I left her up there for almost an hour. But she held it and she rocked it and kicked some major butt.
But I wanted to kill him.
But she wanted to kill me.
That's crazy. Hey, most embarrassing moment.
Oh dear. Let's see. Two of them. One was both of them were birthdays. One, we went to Hawaii and it was one of the milestone birthdays. And she made sure they were going to call me up to dance hula. And I was like, homie, don't play that. And another was she had a surprise birthday party where on my 30th where you had to be 3. So that
he was freaking out about turning 30, so I did a 0-3 birthday instead
How do you show up as 3? What is 3 like? Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
You know what? I still have the tennis shoes. I bought these white Vans tennis shoes, and I had that the paint pen that bubbled, right? And I decorated it like I would have if I had been 3. And
her brother showed up as a clown.
Friends showed up in whatever they thought a 3-year-old birthday party outfit should show up as.
Now,
I love that. Cindy Bell, what's one of your most embarrassing moments?
I gave birth in the front seat of my car, and when we pulled up to the emergency room, pants down to my ankles, the baby had been whisked away, and they stood me up bare ass naked in the parking lot, and the entire population of the hospital had come out to look at me.
Oh, who pulled the baby out?
The nurse or a doctor or a nurse ran out when we pulled up. The baby had already been born. But
No. But so who made the baby born? Who were you? Who was in the other? By yourself?
Yeah, well, I was in the passenger seat, and my husband at the time was driving.
Could be
the
worse.
baby? You got to be kidding me. That really happened?
Could be video.
It was my baby number 2, and she's 25 now, so this is before cell phones. Otherwise, you bet I would have broadcast it live.
Oh my God. I'm so glad she's fine. She's got like chills all my entire body.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Oh, that is a great story.
It's actually one of my springboard stories, Forbes. It's one of the springboard stories in your class.
You just said, I can't wait to hear how this promotes things. You just sent chills down my entire body. Anil, what's one of your most embarrassing moments? Oh, she's still multitasking. Come back when you can.
No, sorry, it's Emily. You didn't click on my bio because on Forbes' recommendation, I have an explanation how to pronounce my name.
Ah. Annalie rhymes with family. Thank you. That's my recommendation. That's a very smart thing to do. Love you for that.
Yeah. So my most embarrassing moment was we went camping and I washed my underwear in the ladies' rooms and I didn't know where to hang it. So I hung it over the corner of the camping chair and put a towel over it to hide it. My dad came in looking for a camping chair, threw off the towel, not noticing the underwear, and then proceeded to walk with the camping chair and my underwear, my knickers, and to go and join a huge crowd and sat there happily with my underwear hanging over the corner of the chair. We actually shared the embarrassing moment, my dad and I.
But at least it was clean. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Marcus, one most embarrassing moments.
One that I had when I was like, I don't know, I was pretty young, but I was walking and talking to my parents and I walked into a brick wall.
Oh, yeah. That'll get you. Amy, an embarrassing moment.
I was walking to class on the UCLA campus and I was late. So I started running and picking up speed and I was near the steps at Bunch Hall and I slipped and I went down about 15 concrete cement steps and I completely scarred the shins on both my legs. I walk into my economics class, who, by the way, happened to have a haughty professor and had bloody legs showing on my nice little skirt. And this man sat me on his desk and tended to my knees and let me take my exam late. So I turned a negative into a positive.
Oh my gosh, Luana, an embarrassing moment.
Hi, I was 5 years old and I was on vacation with my parents and we were at the beach and I was putting on my flip-flops, not knowing that the flip-flops were from somebody else, but she had the exactly same flip-flops and I was running. And then a girl followed me and I was, why is she following me? And then my mom came and said, hey, here are your flip-flops. And I was like, no, I have my flip-flops. And then the girl said, no, these are my flip-flops.
I love it. I'm in Mexico at Club Med with my parents. Last vacation I ever took with them. Guess we ran out of underwear and wearing a button-down dress in the back. And I'm in the airport, almost all Mexican. And I don't realize that, and my parents and my ex-husband were standing outside and I'm just yakking and talking and the entire airport is laughing and pointing. I don't see them. They're behind me. But Tom comes running and leaping over things because apparently the buttons had unbuttoned my dress. I don't know that. And my little cheeks are just flapping in the wind and I'm just talking and laughing and the entire airport saw my ass and my parents just went, Yeah, well, on that note, I want to thank you guys very much for being part of my show, part of today. I'm going to end the room. I got to go take a quick break for my next interview. I love you guys. I will do the forward of your book. We'll see you for dinner, going to Sedona, and life is amazing with Riley. Yeah?
Yes.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.